Hey everyone, excited again to introduce our Top Critter Open sponsor and partner, AlefEdge. We are here today. They have a presentation to show you what they are all about. I'm very excited to introduce Dr. Ganesh Sundaram, founder and CEO of AlefEdge. Ganesh, welcome back.
Sorry, I was muted. Thank you, Adam, and the rest of the Top Coder team uh, for this opportunity to be back on stage here. We're going to do this presentation, which kind of piggybacks on the video that you just saw. The the idea of 5G has been around, but we'll get into a little bit of detail on the complexities. Hopefully, the video captured the layers of complexity that have to be unpacked from a developer perspective. But really, what we are trying to do in the context of this particular opportunity is how can we build the future of apps with EdgeNet. We launched a compute and delivery platform at the edge as we get ready for 5G application, 5G style applications. And so we'd like to be able to introduce to this audience how you could build the future of applications with EdgeNet. Moving over to the next slide. Uh, Somehow it's not moving. There you go. So let's just get started with something very basic. And preaching to the choir, digital transformation is all over around us. There are a number of X factors we are dealing with, especially with respect to COVID and the fact that we are virtual, not in front of each other, talking about this opportunity is testimony to the fact that we've evolved. But more importantly, we've been forced to evolve, and that's a significant X factor. Moreover, the hidden 5G floating around the ether right now is really what is driving the adoption of edge technologies. Uh, I just have a little quote that I've been accused of that there is no 5G without edge. We'll talk about it in a separate offline, but for a moment, let's just make the assumption that we all believe that statement that there's no 5G without edge. If you really want to understand it better, for the first time, 4G and 5G, when we went from one generation to another, the underlying radio technology did not change. It's a very architectural change that took place in 5G. It creates a lot of opportunities for people in the audience to be able to help make this an ecosystem opportunity. Moving over to the next slide. It's not moving for me. There you go. Uh, there is some delay, so we want to fix these kind of delays. Edge, by definition, this you cannot make this up, guys. This is the perfect moment for us to all understand the fact that edge computing is really a hyper distributed version of cloud computing, but it's really built for low latency, okay? Ultra low latency and ultra high bandwidth. All of us understand 5G as ultra low latency and ultra high bandwidth from a definition perspective and a new class of computing paradigms that can be introduced. But what this slide is really articulating is edge computing is really the future of apps. Okay, so how can we bring certain compute and or backend functionality to the edge? And edge, by definition, is for in this particular slide, you should think of it as computing meet connectivity at the point of consumption, and the consumption point is getting closer and closer to the end user or the device. Okay, think about it that way, and it need not be a smartphone. It could be an IoT device. It could be a camera, and we'll talk about a few applications that will probably give it a little more of a concrete flavor. Moving over to the next slide. There you go. At a very fundamental level, Edge, if you start looking at the application landscape, we can sort of break it down into two dimensions: existing applications that can be enhanced through for connected devices, smart screens, immersive experiences, and so on and so forth, or higher definition video use cases and things like that. But then there's the other paradigm of applications which just are impossible without having an edge computing framework. We call those as edge native, and we'll talk about both examples over the next several weeks, months, etc. But from a developer perspective, let's just break it down into two broad buckets from an application developer perspective. Moving over to the next slide. Wow. Okay. The video should have given you a sense of the fact that 5G is complicated. Building the edge is equally complicated. Building edge applications is hard. So let's keep that in mind, given the layers of complexity that have to be unpacked. But the whole idea is how can we do it in a fashion that makes it abstract and we can actually make progress together as an ecosystem, learn from each other, and get some time to market advantage. Next slide, please. Okay. One of the areas of complication that we need to unpack is enterprises are going through digital transformation. And the need for 5G has been understood. So digital transformation requires lots of apps. And it requires a lot of imagination. It cannot be limited to the few of us who are part of AlefEdge and the partnership ecosystem we are working with. So we would like to be able to open it up to a larger ecosystem to leverage the imagination from folks who are on this platform. The next slide really talks about why is it hard? Because why is it complicated? It requires radio access networks. Let's go to the next. It requires high speed, high bandwidth, ultra low latency. Maybe we can go a little faster. It requires support from operation support system, billing support system. These are all systems that have been thought about for a long time, are a part and parcel of 2G, 3G, 4G, etc. And companies like Twilio have abstracted it out from developers who are on this platform, for example. We want to be able to bring that kind of an approach to this ecosystem so that 5G gets abstracted and we can make progress together as a community here. So edge computing is not the same as cloud computing. Why? Because in cloud computing, we talk about 10,000 servers or magnitude and scale of 10,000 servers with maybe 100,000 virtual instances. That's not the case with edge. It's more like 10 servers across 1,000 locations. So the scale at which we have to practice things is totally different. And so that's another layer of complexity. And how we can migrate workloads in fractions of seconds is also an important part of the equation. We'd like to abstract that out also. Moving over to the next layer of complexity. Next slide. Yeah. So this is another something that we need to sort of internalize from an enterprise perspective. It's a very services focused architecture for 5G. Okay, it's no longer I just have a broadband network and you do whatever you want, but there are certain enablers that have already been put into place with respect to 5G standards are concerned. How can a community like the top coder community take advantage of services and the enablers that come, and how can we expose it in the form of APIs so that there could be rapid application development? That's what this platform is all about. Moving over to the next slide. Okay. There's another layer of complexity, and maybe we should, this is around the regulatory aspects of 5G. Again, it's been abstracted out. Maybe we can quickly go over to the applications that, oh, security. Oh my God, this is another area. in the fundamental, when we start to open up cloud native technologies, we need to be able to take advantage of the developments that have taken place in the cloud world, adapt and adopt it in the context of edge also. So software defined mobile edge is another way of looking at it. Overall, 5G is complicated. Can we jump into the next section? Maybe I can hand it off to Quinton to figure out how to walk through the applications. Yeah. So the raison d'etre is all APIs, and we're trying to figure it out in a manner that we can use the principles that we are already used to in the cloud, but be able to apply it at the edge so that we can take advantage of all the great work that's been done in 5G over the past 5 or 7 years. Maybe even try to apply it independent of whether the access technology is 5G or not. Why not try to apply it even over Wi-Fi, but be able to create 5G style applications over Wi-Fi? These are some of the areas we are exploring. I'd like to invite everybody to start looking at it from a broad perspective of what are the APIs that we can bring to the table, what are the quick wins we can generate together as a community, and take it forward for enterprises and consumer applications. Moving over to the next slide. Okay, next slide. We've already talked about the shared economy. Okay. Let me hand it over to Quinton so that we can walk through a few examples of the platform and or the applications that can come out of it so that we understand there's an ecosystem behind it. So EdgeNet itself is a compute and delivery network. As I said, it's a hyper-distributed cloud environment. It's a growing footprint. It was launched a few weeks ago, and it's growing literally daily basis. There is a framework for people to start building apps on top of it, and there are from the edge network and the software workloads that are built into this platform that people can take advantage of. Includes all the layers of abstraction we talked about and complexity, but going forward, we are looking at it as a global opportunity and taking it forward. Over to you, Quinton.
Ganesh, thank you. Hi, everybody. I'm really excited to join. My name's Quinton Wall. I've worked in the platform space for, I was trying to think about it this morning, maybe 15 years or so. And the idea of platforms was always how can we create a service and collection of services for developers to build something on. Now, I've spent a bunch of years working at Twilio, prior to that, Heroku and Salesforce, where our focus was really about abstracting away that complexity that Ganesh spoke about. So I'm super excited to work with Aleph because where I see Edge is very similar to what, say, Salesforce was trying to solve back in the day, create a platform that can deliver software over the cloud, over the internet. It was a new novel idea. The same thing with Twilio. How can we abstract away the complexity of carriers and networks to send, say, an SMS message? But then when I started looking at Aleph and the Edge, the same situation was there. It's very, very complex, as Ganesh mentioned before. So how can we abstract away all that complexity and open it up to developers to be able to build anything that they can imagine? So Ganesh mentioned about Edge Enhanced and Edge native apps. I'm a big gamer. I keep checking my phone on the side of this this stream to see if I can get my Xbox Series X console. They're not available yet, but I'll keep waiting for those. But the important thing is, from a platform perspective, what Aleph has done with the EdgeNet platform is they've created this global edge network that provides those locations around the world, abstracted away the complexity of that so you can have those multiple locations, then built a series of APIs and programmable edge layer on top of that to enable network capabilities, cloud APIs. So for instance, I can define a service in EdgeNet, Aleph's platform, and then push it out to a location and distribute that workload as close as possible to the endpoint. The great thing then from a dev, we've also built a series of SDKs and frameworks on top of that. So Aleph can provide specific services, for instance, like ads and bidding and capabilities along that side of things. But they've also made it possible through their ecosystem and open platform approach that you as a developer can build on top of this. So this is what we're really excited about, is what can developers do? And that's what I do as a job. I focus on how can we help enable developers for a great dev experience. And in this instance, with EdgeNet and the platform, it's what can developers build in the edge. I think we're really just tapping the surface of those things that kind of Ganesh mentioned about before. But I wanted to show you two very quick videos of potential applications that you can build on this. And we're talking to customers already. So if we can jump to the next slide, I'll just let this video run very quickly. What you're actually seeing is a connected screen device. So imagine if you're walking through a mall. Remember when we could actually walk through malls? So let's see what this new normal looks like post this. But you can imagine a connected screen is pretty well a dumb screen. It doesn't have much intelligence. But what if we could use Edge and the EdgeNet platform to do real-time facial recognition and then on the back end serve ads based on who that person is in front of it? So it might be a white male in this instance that generally they like action movies. So let's serve them an ad on an action movie. But what if there is somebody else that comes up? Action movies might not be their favorite thing. So let's use AI and edge computing, do all of that processing as close as possible to the location that that connected screen is, and serve up different capabilities. So on the back end of this, Edge is providing all of that compute and location abilities, but behind all of that is the ecosystem of the services and the open platform that EdgeNet is providing, that, let's say, as an advertiser, you could create a bidding platform and service out who actually gets to serve their ads onto your connected screen in a mall or wherever it happens to be. So that's a really good example of what we would call an Edge native app. If we go to the next slide, we could look at something like an Edge enhanced app. So think of gaming. I mentioned gaming before. Gaming is one of those big things that, for instance, if you're familiar with Strava, which is the cloud streaming app, I read a statistic recently that if you serve a HD video, like a Netflix show or something, it's something in the order of 4 to 6 gig of data that actually goes through. So if we can enhance existing apps and services that are out there, gaming's a great example. Obviously, there's a bunch of real-time HD video. If you look at the example here, you can see the difference in performance enhancing an existing service or an experience that you can give to your customers, whether it's gaming or something else. The Edge takes all of that compute and distributing power, puts it as close as possible to the end user to deliver a much better experience. And with EdgeNet, what they've done is really abstracted away that complexity. So me as say a gaming or mobile developer, I have to change very, very little in my application. I just leverage and consume those services. So this is where we really see the opportunity for developers that they never have thought about building Edge applications. They can take advantage of that right now, super easy with the APIs. So just to finish, if we just go back one slide, what we are doing is we are currently looking for getting everybody in this top coder community to help us build that future. So we'd really love and appreciate if anybody could, and all of you would sign up for registering interest for our early access program, which we're planning to launch in the next few months. And between then and now, what we'll do is we'll reach out to you and keep you updated on what's going with the Edge. But more importantly, we want to hear about what you're building as well. So we'd appreciate if you have just a few minutes to sign up for our early access program, and we'll keep you updated on what Aleph and EdgeNet and the future of the edge computing is doing. So with that, I appreciate all of your time.
Thank you very much. Back to you guys, Adam and Nick. Fantastic opportunity. Thanks again. Thank you, Quinton.
Yep. Hey, thank you guys. Very excited to partner with Aleph. To all of our developers out there watching this right now, please do go. There's a link out there to go and sign up and get early access. We will be having everyone do the early access here soon as our two teams get the program off the ground and running. I'm very excited about our future skill builder and code challenges that we will be doing with AlefEdge technology. Amazing opportunity for everyone. And right now is a great time to go learn and ask questions because this is something that we will definitely be doing in December.
All right, so about in 30 minutes, we're going to have the Where Are They Now Top Coder Greats Edition, so stick around. That'll be at 12:30 Top Coder time.